Pro Box fans here with Dave Coldwell. Dave, looking trim again, looking slim, looking better than ever like last time. Just had your little bit of couscous and your little prep food.
Chicken, bit of salad, yeah.
And talk about a few fights have been announced or going to be announced. I want your opinion on them. First of all, Eubank Jr. seems like he's going to be stepping into the ring, possibly January, February time against Liam Smith. Looks like a deal is agreed. Obviously, until we hear an official announcement, we've seen a lot of deals that were supposedly agreed but never happened. But it looks like this one's going to happen. What do you make of that fight?
Great fight. I'd watch that. Pay for that. That's a great fight.
How do you see it going?
I don't know. It's one of those fights where there's attributes from both that can. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's Eubank Jr. is very, very strong, very, very aggressive. Can be very, very aggressive, very, very sharp puncher, tough, granite chin. Liam Smith's just a beast, you know, and he's boxed at such an high level as well. I don't know. Does Eubank Jr. box like under Roy Jones with the Roy Jones style, or do they both meet in the centre ring? I don't know. But it's a great fight. I just want to see who wins. That's it.
With obviously the fight with Conor Ben not happening and Eubank having to boil down, and he showed his weight. I think on that Friday,
it looked fucking dog shit. It looked horrendous. And when he got on those scales, if he didn't have a beard, it looked even worse. He had a good beard on him, mate. He looked bad.
How much would that have taken out of him? You've obviously been a fighter before, but how much?
Listen, so some fighters, it's like I remember seeing Figueroa. I said this to people in the gym before. I remember Figueroa when he boxed Ricky Burns. He looked horrendous. He literally got carried to the scales and lifted off. He was in really bad shape. And 24 hours, 30 hours later, he was absolutely relentless, like a beast for 12 rounds, non-stop. Some people are just different. Some people are just different. And other people, it does affect massively, but it's not a great thing. It's not really a safe thing. So, yeah.
Want to talk about the heavyweight division. Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz Jr. is a fight that's been ordered by the WBC. Good fight, that, man.
Exciting fight. Listen, Deontay Wilder, for all people want to talk about, and no, he didn't beat Tyson Fury, but he is still a top level heavyweight. It's still a heavyweight that you want to watch. You want to see land these big right hands on people. You want to see what happens. It's like, can he dent him? Can he dent him? He's got the power that can put anybody to sleep, and he's exciting. I mean, that knockout against Lanius, he didn't even land it properly. Didn't land it properly, but look at effects it has. So him against Andy Ruiz is a good fight because you've got Ruiz coming in, does Wilder shoot over the top and get caught over the top. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's good.
In your eyes, which fighter would you want to fit Tyson Fury? Because it's an eliminator. We know that not all the time do eliminators go through as planned and everything. But would you want to see Ruiz fight Tyson, or would you want to see Wilder Tyson pot 4?
On face value, you say, oh, fucking hell, Wilder and Fury have fought 3 times before. But the last one was so exciting. It was just nuts. It was just nuts. And so, how do you not, as a neutral fan that just wants to see a great fight, why would you not want to see that fight again? I know in the scheme of things, it's 4 times. But if the great fights, who cares? So, yeah, I won't mind seeing that again. But then again, the intrigue is... No, there's no intrigue because Andy Ruiz won't get anywhere near... I don't know what I'm saying there. It's late. No, Andy Ruiz won't get anywhere near Tyson Fury, I don't think. Yeah, well, Wilder.
A final one for myself. Abu Dhabi last weekend, we saw Bivol beat Ramirez, but something that Eddie Hearn said was that they invited Deontay Wilder and his manager Shelley Finkel over to have possible talks about an Anthony Joshua fight.
Again, it's possible talks. Nothing's been done yet.
What would you make? Would you put Joshua into that situation right now? No, it's not going to be for the next fight. We know that, but in the next 2 or 3 fights, would you want to put Joshua in with the Deontay Wilder right now?
In the next 2 or 3 fights, why not? Wilder got He drew the first, got knocked out in the second,
yeah.
and then what was in the third?
Drew
He got knocked out in the third.
Yeah.
So Wilder's been knocked out twice. Joshua got beat on points by Usyk. So
what about Dillian White fight for AJ? That's a fight that's been tagged for early next
but
year.
in that order, I would rather see AJ against White and then AJ against Wilder, or the winner of that against Wilder.
Actually, a final one for myself. I just spoke to David Abinesian inside there. He's fighting Terrence Crawford, which is crazy. But for us fight fans, unfortunately, we never got to see the fight that we want to see made. Errol Spence Jr. against Terrence Crawford didn't happen. We obviously didn't get to see AJ Fury. That's talks are off again for that. What we made of 2022? These mega fights, not even the super fights, but these mega fights just haven't happened.
Shit, innit? And that's the problem with boxing. We want the fights. The fighters want the fights. But something gets in the way. It's either promoters or TV networks. Either of them needs to pull the fingers out, and because they're killing the sport. The sport is great, but it could be so much better if you just get the fighters done. I know it's easier said than done because there's so many intangibles, there's so many different parts that need to come together, especially when you've got different promoters, different networks and things like that. But I can have it where you know the promoters are, but ultimately the promoters got to remember that they're working for the fighters, and if the fighter saying he wants to make the fight, but then the fighter's putting it on the promoter, and then the promoter comes and says, there you go, this is a deal, and the fighter's saying, well, that's not enough money. Well, whose fault is it? But then when everything's ticked, and then it comes down to, oh well, TV networks say, well, we're having it on our channel, they're having it on their channel. Split it, because you're killing the sport. You're mourning because you're not getting the numbers and things like that, or if you are mourning because you're not getting the numbers. But then if you don't make the fights and go out your way sometimes, then that's what's going to happen. You know, if it's like Dalton's coming box on Sky tonight. Sky's with the profile, with the build up to this fight and things like that. I'm sure Dalton's had some really good profile. I know he's a free agent or whatever now, or that's what I've heard. But I don't know. But
that was the last fight.
But if that's his last fight with Matchroom, now his profile's higher. If he was to go back to Matchroom and go on his own, he's got a higher profile than what it was before he boxed tonight on Sky, because of the build-up that he's had with Sky. And so, if it comes to a fight where, you know, it's a massive mega fight, and your fighter, you know, the only way it can happen is that they go and box on a different channel. If you believe in your fighter, if you think your fighter's the one, then let him go, because if that's where the profile's going to be, let him do it, then come back. It helps you and your channel, because your fighter's now a bigger name. Or come to a deal where it can be split. You know, if it's two pay-per-view channels, I think they used to do that a couple of times with Showtime and HBO, where they'd be on both networks. And if you're an HBO subscriber, you subscribe to them and get the fight pay-per-view to them. If you're Showtime, you pay to them, and they've got their audience. So, you know, it is what it is. But either way, there's got to be a solution, because it's this year's been frustrating, and you know, you can go through. It's always been the same. There's always been fights that never happened, that should have happened. You know, Lennox Lewis against Riddick Bowe, Ricky Hatton against Junior Witter. Now you're talking about these guys. You know, Terrence Crawford against Spence. If they don't happen, Fury against AJ. If they don't happen, that's the shit that where you miss a window to make this sport just explode again. Do you know what I mean? You're missing these windows. So they do need to find a solution. I think it's a bit more encouraging that you've got the likes of George Warren, who seems to be
talking a bit more
with your Matchrooms and people like that, and you know, and Ben Shalom, and I think that could be a game changer, because sometimes same company but different personalities, and kind of like they haven't got that ingrained sort of tension, and so they can look at a certain different aspect and go, okay, no, we can get this done. And so if George Warren and Frank Smith, for example, can do deals, we're getting fights on. You know, we're going to get fights made. Parker and Ryder.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that comes out of the failure of Fury and AJ not getting made is the fact that there was conversations, and then out of that, it looks like George Warren and Matchroom have got a dialogue and a relationship there, a business relationship that can move things forward. Because these promoters that are like your Bob Arams and people like that might be a bit more standoffish and be a bit harder to deal with, the guys like Tom Loeffler, who's next in line sort of thing at top rank, these guys are younger, George younger, you know, things can move on and progress, and we can get things made in the future. But the problem is, if we don't start getting things made now, then people are gonna, and I'm talking about mainstream people, and I look at like YouTubers and say they're setting standards. What? Because they're fighting, but it's not good. It's not good. So it needs sorting.
Let's hope 2023 is a better year for boxing in general.
Fingers crossed.
And yeah, I'm gonna let you go, man. It's been 20 minutes. It's very late on this Saturday night. It's like I don't even know what time. 1:45.
1:45.
Fantastic. I always appreciate your time, especially this late. And I'll speak to you very soon. Dave Coldwell. Thank you very much. Talk to pro boxing fans.